What's up, everybody? Rothstein here. Betting Public Sports Show. Fame Rothstein Sports Investing Show. Link to the podcast is in the bio. Today is Thursday, April 20th or 21st, 2022. Just gonna talk a little shit. I got no action. Usually we do sports betting action. I don't have any today, so you don't need to, you can listen to this show. But, again, Thursday through Sunday, the podcast you can find on the Fame Rothstein Sports Investing Show podcast. You can find it on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Podcasts, about 10 different places. Tune in. Then this show. Make sure you like, subscribe. Hit that subscription button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop videos. Usually on the weekends, but sometimes I drop something intermittently to kind of whet the people's appetite, if you will. I'm trying to think here. There's no other. But normally, if you had a gambling problem, I'd tell you to, get you to, show you what the ways you can help. Get yourself some help. The State Gamblers Anonymous Association or your local, Gamblers Anonymous or Gamblers Help program, right? But like I said, there's no action today that I have on the podcast. Actually, I do. But no, we ain't gonna put them out there. You have to go check out the podcast. I told you how to get it. Might do a video on some action this weekend. We'll see. But little talk this week, the past week about the unwritten rules of baseball, professional baseball. The San Francisco Giants were kind of like, I guess, running up the score, or up a certain amount. Of 7, 8, 9 runs against the San Diego Padres. And there was some talk about that, the unwritten rules of baseball. You don't run up the score intentionally. Certain things, wearing your hat backward, which Ken Griffey Jr. Notoriously does. But then again, he's an exception to the unwritten rule. Ken Griffey Jr. is an historic player. There's always exceptions. Some people have 5 fingers and 5 toes, right? Some people have 6 fingers and 6 toes instead of 5 like everyone else. There's always exceptions to the rule. Ken Griffey Jr. is an exception. I'm trying to think some of the more unwritten rules. Swinging at 3-0. Things like that, they're unwritten rules. They're not necessarily against the rules. They're not illegal. They're not cheating, but they're just kind of like, you don't need to do all that. So yeah, that talk came up, and it came out to another group, a Facebook group I'm familiar with that. That one of the notions that a few people liked, I don't necessarily agree with it, that this is why black people stopped playing baseball or never really played baseball because of all the unwritten rules. And I thought that was a poor excuse. That's terrible. I don't think that's true at all. I played baseball. I enjoyed it, Hell, baseball is just one of those one of the main reasons. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons. I mean, I've heard Eric Davis of the Reds, formerly of the Reds, say that, baseball has to be, the game that's got to be introduced by a man, and, there's very few, the lack of fathers in the home and that type of thing. That could be some of it. Torrey Hunter, formerly of the Twins, he even said it once that because baseball, doesn't really lend itself to allowing your athleticism. I think that's a big part of it because, baseball, in order for your athleticism to show, pardon me, you have to, first of all, get on base and be able to hit the ball. I've seen, as an umpire, I've seen, an RBI team, one of those community funded by your local major league team, the black kids, they were a little scared of the ball. The pitcher was a little wild. He hit him a couple times, but that's kind of, and it was a blowout, so he wasn't doing it on purpose. And that was the parents saying, "Now you doing that on purpose?" No, he's not doing that on purpose. They're hell. 3 rounds. They've got the run rule. They're just trying to try out a pitcher. The run rule was there, the mercy rule was there, so he had some leeway on that. Part of the pitcher's job is to make the batter uncomfortable. If he's wild, you're going to be uncomfortable. Okay? So that's part of it. But yeah, I'll tell you what, if baseball will quit bullshitting, come holler at me. I've got a hell of a game about baseball for you. Not game, but something you'll like. Some entertainment value for baseball. Holler at me, all right? But yeah, it's not the unwritten rules. It's just so much other stuff. Basketball. Basketball. It's always 72 degrees inside a gym. Baseball. Sometimes it's brutally hot out there, and I don't care what nobody say. If the stands aren't shaded properly, the parents don't want to be there because it's too hot. 90-something degrees in the middle of the summer. You're on a Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Game, in a field that ain't very hot, that ain't very shaded. It's hot. The parents are miserable a lot of times. It's a lot of factors of why black kids don't play baseball. It ain't just one thing. But I don't even think it's the track. I don't even think it's the racism history of it all, because even after all that with Jackie Robinson in 1947, there were still plenty of black kids playing until there were still plenty of black major leaguers until the 80s and early 90s. And even still with that, the best, Bonds and Griffey, were black. Now they grew up a little affluent. That's part of it. It's it's an affluent game. It's kind of like hockey. It's an affluent game. Even if it wasn't cold on the ice rink, hockey would still be an expensive sport for the average person to go play. And same thing with baseball. you're talking $2,000 just to join a good team. Like, you ain't gonna just play on your Saturday teams anymore. Your Saturday, 9 to 11 o'clock starts or whatever. No, you're gonna play 3, 4, 5 times a week. You're gonna need, a glove or two, spikes, and some turf shoes just in case, you're playing on an AstroTurf or a field turf and they don't want spikes, metal spikes. There's a lot of things going on. Baseball is expensive. Going to hotels. You do that for 4 or 5 years in high school, really 6 years if you start at 12U. Hotels, 2, 3 times a weekend because you're out of town. And somebody did say that, and I agree with that too. Travel baseball has kind of been more of something for the parents anymore. To travel around, go to see restaurants and shows and shit like that. It's become a big deal that's become a big part of it. Just parents just want to go travel around the country for a little bit. Kind of cheaply, but for a reason, because it's about their kid. But then again, like I said, you're still going out, you're getting hotels, spending money, you're getting better restaurants. Oh, we don't have a restaurant like this at home. What is that? Let's go try it. That type of thing. if the major league team's in town or whatever, if there's a pro or college sporting event in town, the teams will be there. It's become just really a big feast of it's not just kids baseball anymore. It's really it's for the parents as much anymore too. I mean, that's any type of travel ball, whether it's elite, select, whatever. It's about the parents anymore. So yeah, but to come back to the main point, no, the unwritten rules are what give the sport culture, make it nuanced. There's unwritten rules in hoop. I didn't hoop, so I don't know, but I'm sure there's unwritten rules in it. Crowding the shooter when he's shooting a jump shot like that. Coming up under his feet. That type of thing. Football, there's unwritten rules. There were so many people doing unwritten rules that they started making them rules. Unnecessary blind sides way away from the field. That's unnecessary. We used to tell people that, like, yeah, you ain't got to do all that way away from the play. That, unnecessary roughness, that type of thing. Ooh. Smoking the quarterback, unnecessarily. I used to be able to do that. You throw certain quarterbacks, you don't star quarterbacks, you don't smoke them. Dan Marino, Joe Montana, all those guys, Tom Brady, they throw an interception. Unless they're in the play, you don't hit them because they're not going to try and get in the play. Peyton Manning, that's an unwritten rule. You don't go hit nobody who ain't trying to get in the mix. But yeah, let's just stop trying to make this thing about black kids and baseball to be one specific thing. It's a number of reasons why. I tend to think the most pertinent is the finances. Basketball, get $100, $150 pair of sneakers and a hoop rock and you're in. You don't even need the 150. That's till you get onto a team, but you need a pair of sneakers and a ball. Football, you just need a ball. Baseball, you need bats, gloves, to go pick out, the bat's got to be able to handle the ball. You can't play, tennis ball with a wiffle ball bat. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. It's expensive. I think that's the main, and blacks have kind of gotten priced out of it because of the evolution of travel ball, things like that, all right? Because I go to tournaments all the time. It ain't uncommon to go to a baseball tournament and you won't see another black parent there. It happens more than once a year during that 8 weeks, all right? So, during the 8 weeks of the high school season, the younger kids, same thing. Okay, but the specialized coaching, baseball is expensive as fuck. There's kids 12 years old have hitting coaches, pitching coaches, fielding coaches, that pay 20 to $50 an hour to work with your kid alone. And they do it. Okay? But that's all I got for the day. I'm gonna hop off of here. Just wanted to say what up for a little bit. We'll be back we'll be back soon, more likely this weekend, with more action, all right? Or with action and talking shit and picks. That's what we're gonna call it. Talking shit and picks. We're gonna talk some shit and I'm gonna give you some picks, all right? But until then, y'all stay safe. Peace.